Oh, hi. I'm Jen, and welcome to my vlog space. This is my BFF, Sean.
Hello.
But he's also something very, very important in my companies. Aside from being the dancer, or a dancer, and the photographer, and the guy that brings the floors in, and sometimes you drive, you know, when we're allowed to go places. What else do you do?
Tech.
You run the tech, security. Okay, keep going. Come on, get to the point.
But I'm also the videographer for both Noise Complaint and for Rhythm Theory. So
that's how we met, actually.
Yeah.
I hired him to do a video, and I got stuck with him after that.
Yeah.
So
we hung out for like 15
24
hours that day, and we hung out all day doing the first video, and then I just never left. I stuck around with the fun people. So that's why I'm here.
The fun people.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you guys today for today's Tappy Talk about my companies and kind of an update into how we're approaching performances in 2021. 2020 was a very surprising year for both of my companies, as well as tap companies around the US, I'm sure. We had a whole calendar. We had a very full calendar. I think we even had one weekend where I had to travel between two completely opposite cities. Like, it was like Indianapolis and Raleigh. I had to be there on the same weekend. So I was going to have to like fly back and forth. Our calendar was that full. And then the shutdown. Then COVID happened. And our calendar just went nothing. Absolutely nothing. We filled the year with as many virtual performances as we could, which is where you came in. He would set up Twitch or YouTube and have us live stream. Toward the end of the year, we started doing something a little bit different with both companies. And I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that and how we're approaching going into 2021. So today's topic is navigating 2021 / a pandemic as a tap dance company. How do you do this? I actually had a conversation with somebody 2 nights ago where I said the phrase, it is so difficult to navigate running a company during a pandemic. And that got me thinking about like all the things that I've had to change for Noise Complaint and Rhythm Theory, and all the things that I will keep having to change in order to stay performing and stay rehearsing. I'll start with like basic facts. Both companies are housed in Jacksonville, Florida, and there's not a lot of regulations in Florida, but in order to maintain the safety of my dancers and myself and the families of the dancers and myself, I have imposed my own rules, my own very strict policies for rehearsal. We've had rehearsals on Zoom, and we've had rehearsals in person. Every time we are in person, all of the floors are spaced at least 6 feet apart from each other, which means my company's full. I can't have any more because there's no space for another floor in there. And we are all wearing masks at all times. If somebody needs to take off their mask, they have to go outside. That's how strict my rules are, and that's just, you know, I need to make sure it's the safest that I can make it. That's it. Not to say that other companies should have a certain kind of rule. This is just how I'm running my company, and I just wanted to put that out there. We were approached by a couple of organizations to perform with them last year, and I had to turn most of them down. If they were indoors, I turned it down. We are not at the point where we're comfortable doing an indoor show. Maybe that will change. But right now we are just doing outdoor shows and virtual performances only. I know Rhythm Theory did 3 outdoor shows.
I think so.
I missed the last one. Okay, so I missed the last show of 2020. One of the rehearsals that I was at, even though everyone had masks and hi Bento, everyone had masks and everyone was spaced apart, there was a potential exposure. And since I was at that rehearsal, I had to pull myself out of my own show. But luckily, the 3 girls that did the show from Rhythm Theory, they handled it beautifully. It went so well. And thankfully, none of the people that might have been exposed to COVID got COVID. So we were all safe because we were wearing masks and staying distant, but, you know, I had to play it safe and I didn't want to put my other company in danger. So, yeah, there's that. But that's why all the strict rules, so that we avoid situations like that. But how are we going into 2021? Digitally. That's how we're going into 2021. We're continuing to rehearse with all the precautions in place. Sometimes we'll be on Zoom. If I feel like things are not really safe right now, I'm going to say, okay, guys, we're meeting on Zoom. Sometimes we'll be in person. Hopefully, we'll be in person more often. It changes the show, though. Like, I was just with Rhythm Theory on Sunday, and I was rehearsing a new piece. Okay, Bento. Bye. I was rehearsing a new piece. And I was like, oh yeah, for this part, I envisioned us like sliding around the stage and changing spots. And then I was like, wait, we can't do that. So I have to completely change that because we are going to be distanced and like set on a board and we can't move. So I have to completely change that part of the choreography. And, you know, should we get to perform this outdoors or indoors, we are staying in place. The more you move around, the closer you get, the higher the risk. So we are, everything has to change. Astronauts. Astronauts had amazing staging and choreography. And I had to change all of it because we can't do the circle thing. And we can't, there was a circle part and then there was like we had to move in the shape of a star kind of thing. We can't do that anymore. So that completely changes everything. But as the director and choreographer, I have to change with the situation in order to make it work. That's where he comes in. So now that everything is digital, I'm seeking out digital performances. I'm going, okay, what concerts are being put on that are taking digital submissions? That's what we're doing. That's a lot of work for him. Do you want to talk about that?
So, video, it's not just filming and then putting a couple things together and...
No, he's making a dance film.
Yeah.
Like it's an actual film.
Yeah, like the most recent Rhythm Theory video. I think there was a total of 14 takes. 14 takes in different positions. I think overall, there is 130 cuts. Maybe between 90 and 120 cuts. Are you talking about Mic Drop or Wonderland? Yeah, Mic Drop. Mic Drop, okay. Because we just filmed Wonderland. Yeah, so there was like a lot of like going through and like you'd have to watch each, cut and then see which frame you want to use, things like that. But it came out sick. You guys should go see it. The link will be down below. It's a lot of work. And one of the things that her and I talked about is that being especially like Rhythm Theory is the artistic, expression that way. It's a lot different to do a Rhythm Theory video than it is a Noise Complaint video. He has to be in a completely different mindset for both. Yeah, with Noise Complaint, it's more of I have to look at it from the fact that we are a tap dance theater group. It's he has to tell a story. Like, Rhythm Theory showcases a piece of music. It showcases a dance. Noise Complaint has to tell a story from start to finish. Whether it's one song, like our FNAF video, the Five Nights at Freddy's video, we tell a story within that one song. It starts with the guard. Oh yeah, I forgot I was in that. Yeah, the guard being like, why are you always moving? And then we're like, because we move. And then at the end, things happen. So it's a completely different mindset, and it's a whole different set of tools to use on both of them. With Noise Complaint, I can play a little more fun with like adding effects and things like that. Yeah. And Rhythm Theory has a lot more movement and just cool angles and things like that. So it's completely different, but it's hours worth of work, whether it's pre-planning, shooting, or editing. So the work changed. The amount of work that I and the assistant director of Noise Complaint do has increased like threefold.
and the amount of work that Sean does. When we used to do a show, he used to do so much work on stage. He would go dance on stage, and then if he's not in that dance, he runs out into the audience and takes pictures, all while checking on his video camera to make sure he's getting the whole show and that it needs to not like restart or something. So he's playing like 3 different roles on stage. Now it's like you just have more hours worth of work versus like a whole bunch of things to do in the span of 1 hour.
Yeah, it's literally like an entire weekend's worth of work shoved into hours. Like, yeah. So like it's different.
And instead of doing a show every weekend, an entire show, whether it's Rhythm Theory or Noise Complaint, and it used to be like almost every weekend. I would say between the 2 companies, it was like 35 weekends a year out of 52. That's crazy. Instead of doing a show, we just did one dance to film it for like 3 hours. We did Wonderland for 3 hours. We didn't do any other dance. Instead of doing like an hour-long show of 12 different dances, it changes the way you approach things. It changes the way it feels. But we have to do a lot of these video projects because that's one of the only ways to get our art out there right now. I've seen a lot of tap companies make really, really great videos. I've seen a lot of tap companies do like very small in-person shows, but they live stream it out there. Rhythm and Soul did a fantastic show, and honestly kind of grateful for this situation we're in because I actually got to watch their show. I love Ashlyn and I love that whole ensemble. And but I live like 4 hours away, so I can't go to their show. But I'm sitting here like, oh, I can watch their show on Facebook now. And I got to watch their show. It was so cool. So like a silver lining is that more of our fans get to see our shows. Noise Complaint put our Halloween show and our Christmas show in full on YouTube. Y'all can go watch it anytime you want. It's up there. Versus before where you guys would have had to have a ticket to the convention that we were performing at in order to see our holiday show. Now it's just there. So silver lining, that. Downside, all that work, man. It's so much more work. You would think that it'd be less work to just film it and then put it out there, but like the amount of editing that goes back and forth between the 2 of us, like he'll think it's done and then I get it and I go, yeah, you might want to brew some coffee because this is going to be a while.
Yeah. And that's one of the greatest things though, is working that closely with the director of the companies. She can literally, like, I'll show her the take of it, and we'll sit down and we'll go through timestamps of this needs to change, this needs to change, can we try this? And it's so much easier as a videographer to have a director that's willing to do that.
I was going to say, if I can impart any wisdom to my fellow tap company directors, if you're doing a video, and this is dance company directors actually, if you're doing a video, see if the videographer that you're working with is willing to have you work with them. See if they're willing to have you sit with them as they edit, if you have the time, if they have the time, because the video is going to come out much more to your liking if you're able to be a part of the process. Also, if the video camera shakes, it is because Sayuri has entered the room and she is seeming very stressed out right now, and she feels, it looks like she wants to jump on the bed or under the bed, I can't tell. She's like, on, under, baby girl.
But yeah, it's definitely a huge advantage to both parties to have that closeness, even just watching the footage together to go over what you like and what you don't.
Yeah, watching all the footage and say, I like this frame, I don't like this frame, because one of the things that in the early days we had problems with is that he would make a video and he would be like, he would use a frame where somebody messed up. And I'd be like, no, you can't use this frame. Somebody messed up here. And he'd be like, oh, I didn't notice because you didn't really know tap that well at the time. Like you've seen it, but you hadn't really done a lot of it and you hadn't done a lot of videos. This is back in like 2015 when we first met. And I had to sit there and say, no, that was a mistake. Use this frame instead. Use this shot instead. Now, I don't need to tell you when somebody makes a mistake unless it's really subtle. Like, I made a mistake in a video recently, and he didn't catch it because I saved it. But I was like, I'd rather you use that one. So it's a good thing to just sit with the videographer and at least pick your shots that you're going to use and say, ugh, don't use this one because 4 people messed up in that shot. Mistakes are going to happen when you film. It doesn't matter how good the group is. Mistakes are going to happen when you film. When we filmed Wonderland, I made the most mistakes out of the entire company. I was very distracted, mind you, but, like, I made a lot of mistakes. As the director, you kind of, like, keeping an eye out for, like, cars if they're going to be in the shot, or, like, you're listening for people talking so that you can say cut if you need to, and that's hard being the director and in the video, but whatever. And being the director like that, you also have it in mind. You're wanting to know what it's looking like, how it's angled, things like that. How's the lighting, everything, because... Right? How are the shadows today? And, you know, and in the last noise complaint, I felt really bad. We had to retake my solo like 4 times because I just kept messing it up and I was getting so frustrated. But my mind was on other things as well. Like, okay, it's almost 4. We've got to get out of here by 6. We're not quite done. And so it's a lot. If you want to be smarter than me, don't be in the video and the director of the video at the same time. But I'm crazy, so. But it's just interesting to take noise complaint and rhythm theory into this digital world. Like, I, as a YouTuber, I exist in this digital world now. I didn't used to, but thankful for you guys, I exist in this digital world and I understand it a little bit better. I edit all my videos. You don't have to do any of that. Why? Because I'm already making him do, like, 50 hours a week on videos for noise complaint rhythm theory. I'm so sorry. But it's great. Like, what you produce is great. Thanks. The mic drop video is so good. The 5 Nights at Freddy's video is so good. These videos are high quality, and you know, it's not his day job to be a videographer. He's actually you're more of a photographer than a videographer. I'm asking him to step outside. That's like asking me to choreograph contemporary, but like, I'm a tapper. I can do contemporary. We've seen this. But it's not your bread and butter. It's not my bread and butter. It's like my side dish. So asking you to do these videos is your side dish, but like, you do it well. I know you don't like it as much, but you do it well. It's definitely not my like go-to, like, which one would I rather do? But the fact is that I get to help my friends and help you and yourself. You're in the company too. I know. Well, I'm in half of them. But it's really cool. You're not in rhythm theory. It's really cool because I get to really dive into my artistic side in these in a different way. Like, we have a couple ideas planned for a couple videos coming up. Do we? Okay, we do now. No, we have. We've talked about a couple for noise complaint, and then we've also talked about, well, we haven't talked about the idea that I have. Oh, yeah. Okay, I was like, what videos are planned for noise complaint? What videos are planned for rhythm theory? So one of the videos planned for rhythm theory I'm having a hard time putting together. That's the other thing, is finding locations right now can be a little difficult because pandemic. We can't use the place that we were originally going to use to film a Billie Eilish dance that we were going to do. So I have to find a whole other place for that. And then for astronauts, I wanted to do it in a planetarium. I can't get access to a planetarium to shoot a video because pandemic. So things are it's a little rough finding locations. You kind of can't be as picky, I think. So that's another thing, is if you're going to be stretching into this digital realm, you can't be super picky about where you film. And that's just, I mean, you can. I'll just say that. You can, but I have this philosophy of if you're waiting for it to be perfect, it's never going to happen. That's just me. So I'd rather put something good out rather than something perfect out. I'd rather put something good out now than something perfect out in 4 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also, everywhere that you go that you want to film, you can dress it up. You can add in something. If you're by a garage and you want it to look like a street corner, throw in a couple of trash cans. And we did. That's the mic drop video. We were by a garage. We threw in some. We left like the little farm thing. I don't know what. It looked industrial. Noise complaints video. We're in a studio. We were the thing that was dressed up. We were just in a studio, but we were definitely the part that was dressed up. So you just have to decide what you're gonna do and how you're gonna make it yours, even though you don't have a lot of like options, I guess. But yeah, mostly this video is just like a status update of what the companies are doing. We have had offers for shows. We do have some contracts. Okay, this is the other thing. Noise Complaint specifically signed contracts for shows last year?
Some of them
a year and a half ago?
The year before.
Yeah, a year and a half ago.
Last year.
Yeah, like we signed in July of 2019 a contract for March or April or May of 2020. And then that show got canceled. The contract goes in limbo. Mm-hmm. When the show reschedules, the contract moves with the show. Mm-hmm. So we have these dates on our calendar that are like big question marks because I'm like, I don't know where this show is going to be. One of our shows that was supposed to be this February, it was going to be our first in-person show. It was going to be all outdoors, very safe, run by wonderful people. They had to cancel because just numbers have been getting so bad, and I completely respect their decision. They moved to the date of another show I had just been asked if I could do. And I knew that show was kind of like in limbo along with two others. Mm-hmm. So I was waiting. I was waiting to find out about that show. And literally the day after I had to give the answer, and I just gave the answer of, I don't know yet, I'm sorry. The day after I gave the answer, they moved exactly to the date that was in question. Mm-hmm. So that I had to text, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do your show, my contract moved. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It may cancel and move again. Mm-hmm. But because we have the contracts, we have to be flexible to move with it. Mm-hmm. And that's just part of navigating a company in a pandemic. You have to be flexible with like filming locations, with dates of performances. You have to be gracious about cancellations. Mm-hmm. You know, this is hard, but everything we're doing is worth it. It is so worth it to have to rehearse on Zoom sometimes in order to keep moving forward. It is so worth it to deal with getting to rehearsal an hour early to set up the floors and clean the studio and leave rehearsal an hour late because we had to put the floors away and clean the studio and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's worth it to keep moving, to keep the companies moving forward. That being said, this wasn't like an advertisement for the companies, but while I'm here, both of my companies really want to reach more people in the digital world. Noise Complaint typically performs for, I want to say, close to 100,000 people throughout the year, if not more. And Rhythm Theory performs for close to 10,000 people throughout the year. Hoping to grow that. Rhythm Theory is a little younger of a company, like newer. And we would like to get back to performing for about that many people via YouTube. So we have our channels going, and we're trying to grow them. When Noise Complaint hits 1,000 subscribers, and we're not too far, but when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we can start doing full-length live shows on YouTube. Mm-hmm. If you guys could do me the favor of subscribing to both of these channels, they will be linked down below. They're really easy to remember, youtube.com/noisecomplaintlive and youtube.com/Rhythm Theory Tap Ensemble. It's the names of the companies after youtube.com. Helping those companies get to 1,000 subscribers will help us be able to bring our show back to life. We can't perform in person very much, if at all, right now. If we do, it's for a crowd of like 10 people in a corner in a garden outside somewhere. That's literally was the show that I missed. They were in a garden of a museum outside in a corner. And it was so worth doing, but it's not what we want to reach. And Noise Complaint was supposed to perform for, like 5,000 people next month at the costume contest.
At least at one of the shows.
Yeah, 5,000 just at that one show. Like, so if we can get a fifth of that by having 1,000 subscribers, we can get our show on the internet. We can get our show live. We can keep working and work differently. The world has changed, and we have to change with it. And so instead of advertising our show at the convention, walking around with a sign going, "Hello everyone, tap dance show tonight at 7. Instead of doing that, I have to come on here and say, please subscribe to Noise Complaint's channel so we hit 1,000 viewers, or 1,000 subscribers, and please subscribe to Rhythm Theory's channel so that we can grow and hopefully hit that 1,000 at some point as well. Again, Rhythm Theory is a much newer channel. Noise Complaint has lots of videos currently on the channel. We release like a snippet of our shows from the last couple of years every Sunday.
Which usually include like acting before, after also.
Yeah.
Just so that way, because like you said, with Noise Complaint, we're a show.
Yeah, and so you'll get acting, you'll get dancing. Sometimes you'll just get like a funny moment instead of like a dance. You'll just get a funny behind the scenes kind of thing. Like when I think we have a rehearsal in a hotel room on there or something. You never know what we're gonna put on there. Sometimes you get Q&As. Sometimes you get anime deathmatch videos. Lots of fun stuff on Noise Complaints page. Rhythm Theory, we don't put out as much content as often, but what we put out are consistent, solid, polished videos. That's what you'll get on the Rhythm Theory channel. So while it's not as often, it's also not as casual because Rhythm Theory is not as casual of an ensemble. So subscribing to both channels would help the companies out and give us people to perform for. And I think just like with this YouTube channel, one of the things I love about YouTube is that it lets me share this art form in a way that is accessible to everybody. YouTube is a website everybody can access. It doesn't cost anything for you. Like, it costs nothing. That's great, you know? And just like the tutorials. Free tap dance! So it's, instead of me saying, oh, if you want to come to my show, you got to come to this convention, and the convention has like this price ticket. Although it's always worth it, by the way, to go to the conventions, because not only do you get to see our show, you get to see tons of other shows, you get to meet celebrities, you get to shop at like this big like vendor room with artists and stuff. Trust me, it's worth it. But bringing our show to YouTube allows us to perform for you more often and for less of a financial burden on the people watching. So help us out, and I hope that us talking about this is such a weird casual vlog, but I hope that us talking about like how we're handling this maybe helps. If you guys have a company, maybe that helps you with ideas. If you ever want to brainstorm cool ideas for like digital shows, message me. Director to director, I'm all about that. Or if you own a studio and you want to like ask me about videos, or if you want to talk to him about videos, he can't really travel right now to do them, but he can give you ideas. So go ahead and message us, and please subscribe to those channels. They will be down below. Thank you guys so much for all of the support and for always tap dancing with me. I love being able to give back through these videos, through these vlogs and these tutorials with you guys. And now I hope to give back with shows, with full-length performances. Noise Complaint does like hour-long shows. So if you're babysitting, or if you gotta watch your little brother and sister, or if you need your kids to be occupied, we are a kid-friendly show. Park them in front of the TV or in front of the computer for like 45 minutes, and I promise we will entertain them. So.
Oh yeah, we're notorious for that.
We love the fact that our show is kid-friendly. Rhythm Theory is also kid-friendly. If it's not, it will be listed in the video if the video is not safe for kids to watch, but I don't think we've ever put one out that isn't safe for kids to watch, because I like, again, all of this art form to be accessible to everybody. So thank you guys for watching this vlog. Thank you for coming on this vlog and talking about videography.
Thanks for having me.
And as always, thank you for dancing with me.